Hey everyone, this is Dr. Sandy with another exciting episode, and today we're going to talk about low back pain. This is a huge issue, and I'm going to jump right into it. So if we actually look at the research, 70 to 80% of Canadians at some point in their life will have an episode of low back pain. If we look at the economic costs, we're looking at 6 to 12 billion. This is because people miss work, productivity, things like that. So this is a huge burden on the healthcare system. It's affecting a lot of people, and I think the biggest thing is more than the financial impact is the emotional impact, and you can't measure that with a dollar bill. I've seen people with low back pain, and it can be very scary. It can be very frightening. It can really shake someone's confidence. So let's take a deep dive in it. Let's talk about solutions. So a typical story I'll see in my office is someone will come to us and say, you know what? I've had back pain for some time, Dr. Sandy, but it's never been this bad. So they'll usually come to us when it's quite intense. Usually the story will be, it was mild, not a big deal. I'd kind of stretch it out, take a hot shower, I'd be fine. Wasn't really impacting my daily routine, and maybe some tightness. It wasn't a big deal. The tightness escalated to like a stiffness. I used to feel it in the morning. It was getting harder to get up from a chair. From there, it can escalate to a sharp pain, a shooting pain. It can even turn electric. And then at the end stages where it really becomes a big concern, it can even cause some numbness, some tingling, and not only in the back, it can start to radiate into the legs. So that's a typical pattern I've seen where it wasn't so bad and it just got intense over time. And I think people will, again, they'll try maybe heat, ice, they may try some creams and stretching, and they're trying to manage it. But I would tell you, if I could give you some advice, if there's a health concern and you're trying things, and if it works, of course, that's awesome. But if something keeps reoccurring in the same area, the same intensity, and it's just getting stronger, it definitely needs to be checked out by a professional as soon as possible, because the sooner you can get to a health problem or a health challenge, the success rate is much better. But the longer you wait, you might get success. It might be a partial success. It may get more complicated. And I'll be honest, chiropractic is awesome. It helps a lot of people. But if someone waits too long, they may need something more aggressive. They may need injections. They may need surgery. And here's my take on that. So I think, for certain people, of course, it helps them. I just think that injections and surgery should be a last resort. I think people should do things that are gentle and conservative and honor the body. I just think injections and surgery that, the recovery time, a lot of times maybe function is not fully restored. These people have to be careful, maybe not as active. So I can appreciate that in extreme cases we need injection or surgery, but I think it should be done after we've done everything in our power, looking at things that are natural first and then going to that. But if someone can take care of something soon enough, I don't even think they will need the injection or surgery. So conservative is the name of the game. Gentle is the name of the game. Honoring the body is the name of the game. So what are some of the causes of low back pain? Stress can be a big one. Working long hours. You're worried about work. You're worried about family, whatever it looks like. But that constant worry, the constant pressure, maybe just being busy, can obviously affect the low back. The body starts to contract. Muscles get tight. Nerves get pinched, discs start to move. Stress is a big one. Another one is just sitting all day. So we see a ton of professionals who are in front of computers. Then they go home and they sit and watch TV. Then they may game or whatever they're doing. But a lot of sitting. This can obviously affect students as well. Who else sits a lot? Truck drivers, taxi drivers. And then someone may be working possibly in a factory setting, and then there's a lot of heavy lifting, and it may be heavy objects or a small object, but they lift it 200-300 times a day, or maybe it's just awkward positions. So I think these are all things that can impact it. Sports injuries that you've had in the past, maybe lifting too much in the gym. Maybe you played a sport and you just got like tackled, or you fell down and it's an old injury, but it never got properly addressed. It can lead to low back pain as you get older. So these are causes, how it can feel. We've already discussed that. So again, when we start to talk about the impact of low back pain, why it's a big deal, it can really affect your work performance. So it's hard to focus. It's hard to concentrate. Imagine you're an executive making big decisions and this pain is just distracting you. It's hard to give 100%, and obviously that can affect the organization. Or you're an employee and you're always in pain and you're calling in sick or doing half days. It affects your performance. It'll literally affect how far you'll go with that company, or how what position you'll actually make it to if your health is affected, and especially the low back. I think a big thing that can affect as well is on a personal level. Like, we all know we should work out and go to the gym or be active or play sports, but this can hinder that, you know? And imagine already someone has blood pressure, they have diabetes, they have all these health issues, high cholesterol, and their doctor's like, you need to exercise, you need to be active, but they have back pain. That's, you know, that to me is like a double whammy. So they already have a health condition, and they have an intention that they want to be active, they want to go for walks, but they're in so much pain. So that is not a good scenario whatsoever. So, and here's the biggest thing, is that it affects family life. If you're always in pain, the weekend comes and, you know, the weather is good and everyone's like, let's go for a walk, let's go for a picnic, let's go to that barbecue, but you're in pain, and it might look like, okay guys, let's stay home, or you guys go ahead, I'll just stay home. Or you go to a party and you have to leave early. Or you're you know, the thought of a vacation, everyone on the family's like, hey, let's go on that family vacation, but you're like, wow, if I walk in the airport, if I have to get on a plane, how hard is that going to be? These are things that really get affected. It affects your family life. It affects you personally. It affects your work life. It affects you on so many levels. And, you know, the big thing is when I talk to patients as well, I think we can all agree, why do we want to be healthy? We want to enjoy life. We want a good quality of life. And we want to be independent. We love our family, but we don't want to be a burden. We don't want them, you know, of course they're there to support us, but we want to be healthy and independent. Like, whether you want to pick up, you know, jump in the car and go to the grocery store or go to the gym or whatever you do, you don't want to always have to ask someone and arrange and those kind of things. And if you're healthy, you're going to be independent. And especially as people get older, independence is something that's valued. I mean, we always value it, but, you know, you just don't want to bother anyone. You just want to be healthy, move, independent, not, oh, I have to consult with someone before I make my next move. No, we want to be healthy and independent. And if anything, not only healthy and independent, we want to contribute. We want to make lives, you know, other people's lives easier. And we're only going to do that if we're healthy. Now, if we look at the traditional medical model, it basically, you know, maybe you consult the doctor and they may say things like, hey, have you tried stretching and walking and things like that? Maybe try yoga. Great things, and a lot of times, yes, they can provide a benefit. So if it's helping someone, you know, they're on a good path. Let's say that's not working, so this person might resort to heat or ice, or they might use certain creams. If that's not working, they may need over-the-counter medication like painkillers, anti-inflammatories, things like that. If that's still not working, this is where the concern starts to develop. So now they may need a prescription medication, so they talk to their doctor, they need something stronger. And if that doesn't work, it's injections, and if that doesn't work, as you know, surgery is that option. So the thing is, though, if you look at the human body, it's giving you warning signs. It's telling you I need help. It starts to make the symptoms stronger, and again, we want to act on those symptoms as soon as possible, so we can look for the most conservative, gentle, natural solution for the human body. And I think for most people that would make sense. Now, what I like with chiropractic is that a big thing in chiropractic, we look at symmetry, we look at balance, and if someone is having low back pain, chiropractors, I would definitely say as a whole, like, this is a specialty, this is something we're very well versed in. So if we look at chiropractic, that with low back pain, we want to study it, we want to see what's going on. So number one, is there any type of nerve impingement? So the nerves, as you already know, are sending signals from the brain to the body. They control everything in the body, and they even control the rate of healing. So if there's impingement on the nerves, the body is almost confused. It doesn't know how to deal with something efficiently. So we want the proper nerve signal. We want the disc to be sitting where it should be. We don't want the joints grinding or pushing on things. We want the joints in a neutral position where they're healthy. But if the joints are not sitting where they should be, obviously that can cause pain, inflammation. As I said, the blood flow, the joint space. We're looking at all these things to be symmetrical. Obviously, if the spine is in alignment, the muscles are relaxed. So we might be rubbing a muscle, but if the joint is not sitting where it should, we can rub the muscle, it feels good, we put heat or ice, we might put a cream, but until you correct the joint, until that joint is back in place and the nerves and everything can work the way they should, the muscles can be balanced and healthy, that pain's going to keep coming back. And that's what I love with chiropractic. We're always asking, how do we get to the root cause? How do we get to the root cause? We are very cause-based. We want to get to the root cause. We respect that other people, you know, there's a time and place where we need to do all these other things, but we have to address the root cause, find out what's going on, get that back in shape, and then maintain that. But we want to go after any imbalance that's occurring on those levels. So if you're listening to this and maybe you've tried different things, and if they've worked, great, you know, I'm happy for you. But if you have low back pain, or you know someone with low back pain, I would suggest at least, you know, to get a checkup, to see what's going on with the spine. It's something, at least, maybe you've met some other people, but, you know, get a second opinion, get a third opinion, and, you know, what options are out there. So we're here for you. We are here to serve. I love helping people. I had a patient ask me recently, like, people come in and they're like, hey, Dr. Sandy, I feel this, I'm in pain. And, you know, you hear this all day. People are in pain and suffering, but, you know, what keeps you going? Like, how do you still stay motivated? And you know what motivates me? Yes, we have those people who are suffering in pain, but what drives me is when I see that patient turn around, or you hear these people come in and go, wow, I was like this, and you see that transformation, and they're like, I'm doing more, I'm active, I'm walking again, I feel better, I don't need the painkillers now, Dr. Sandy. I love hearing those statements, because that's what drives me. So yes, you have those patients who come in initially and they're suffering, but when you hear people healthy, strong, and thriving, I love that. I love that. So we're here to serve. We definitely see people with low back pain. If you have any questions, you're looking for a natural way to work with the body, please call or text us at 905-896-3393. That's 905-896-3393. Call or text us. Go to our website, gopowerflow.com. If you need our help, or someone else does, pass the message. We're here to serve. I wish you only the best. I wish you amazing health, happiness, success for you and your family. Reach out to us if there's any questions, and God bless.